This time on Woody's Garage. This governor has no mansion.
Alright, today, boy, I didn't even want to get into this thing today. It's one of my most hated machines. It's a Craftsman 24 Snowblower, and it blows. It really blows. I've worked on this like about 6 or 7 times trying to get the governor right on it. Just won't work. New linkage, new governor. What did I put inside? New plunger and stuff. Can't remember what I did to this thing, but I have tried everything to get the governor right on this. And it's got a really crappy linkage system. I mean, nice spring and everything like that. I've adjusted it every way you possibly can, and it still surges like hell. Bought a brand new carb for it, put the old carb back on, and kind of what I've decided is, hey, the hell with a governor. I think these are like power on engines or some fucking thing that yeah, I can't find parts for it anywhere. So I've kind of thought about it and said, like, well, either I'm going to put, I have an old Tecumseh 7 horsepower, a beauty. I could put it on here and it would be fine. Kind of a retro in reverse fit. I guess it's a retrofit. Anyway, so I started looking at it. I found this thing that I have. I know I'm really babbling today. It is a throttle control, maybe from an old lawnmower, maybe from a snowblower, probably a snowblower, with a Z-bend at the end, and it's in relatively good condition. I said, let's just do a hard cable to that throttle and, you know, just hold it in place and just don't run it wide friggin' open. Then again, maybe I will and let the engine blow up. I don't really care. But how will I mount it? So I started looking at the carbs, and I got a few of these hanging around. This be the choke. Oh no, this be the throttle in front here. And what it has is this hole and a little hole next to it. And I said, what if I cut this top part off and stuck the Z-bend in that hole? So I took the carburetor, and yeah, I could swap this out in case this is bad or whatever, and I just cut it off. And I want to try to get the Z-bend into that hole. It looks a little thick, but so am I. Okay. The carb sits like this, so I'm going to have to run this thing like out this way somehow, which is very awkward. But I want to try to get in there, and it's too thick. And this little one just won't really do it. It'd get probably this far, and that would be, the little one will get about this far, and that's about it. But this one out here, you get full motion like that. So I gotta make this plate here a little bit thinner. Yeah, I got it on the belt grinder, and easy. That should work. Open. Now, that's the easy part, really. What we gotta do is, because the movement of the throttle is like this thing, like this rod, it's got to go this way. So I'm probably going to pull all this stuff off, and I'm going to have to mount that. The cable's got to have to stop. It's got to have a stop on it so it doesn't move, and then we'll have to mount this thingamajig someplace. That won't be hard. Maybe nothing will be hard, I don't know. But we'll have to get the tank off and everything. I hate working on these. I absolutely despise these machines. My neighbors next door have one, and it, you know, after a year the carburetor rusted and I had to replace that, and I don't want to work on it again. Just like the way they make these things. Yeah, buy them and then throw them away at the end of the year. So I'm going to take off that gas tank and get in there. Gas tank is off. Here's the governor setup. Yeah, everything looks like it should work, right? Well, it doesn't. I think I'm going to leave the spring on it just so it has tension on it, but get the rods off of it, which means I got to take this thing off. I might have to take this in anyway to mount, or maybe I'll mount the cable to this somehow. But first we'll get those rods and that other spring out of there. Okay. Bear with me with the wiggly camera. You're probably used to it by now anyway. A great place to put another screw. Alright now. So we won't need these anymore. Says me. We'll take those off. Those I bought brand new to try to overcome. And we'll just leave the governor hitched up like this, I think. And then maybe we can hitch our cable to the housing here, or to this housing. You know, you want to keep the cable about as flat in line with the carb as you can. That's a really nice fall day. So I'm enjoying the day more than others. There's the control. Cable goes like this and goes right into the carb. So like pulling on it will shut it down, and pushing on it will open the carb, I hope. It looks pretty straight. It would be great to clamp it down right about here. Okay, we're inside here. A little bit of a problem where the Z-bend sticks through. When you want to close the throttle down like that, the tip of the Z hits the plastic here. So I got to take the Dremel and notch it out a little bit here so the Z has a place to go, because that's stiff. And you can see how it's moving the cable around, because it could close, but you're always going to be fighting it, and I don't want to fight it, so I want to put some kind of groove in there. Alright, I just took a file and filed it flat, so now the cable can sit flat. Might be able to see this better than me. I have the throttle closed and the cable is, you know, I kind of want to be parallel with this surface. Okay, now I can probably show you what I mean a little bit better, I hope. This is all, oh yeah, great. The thing's got to be anchored there. And then the cable, well, yeah, we're doing a real good job here. Basically, it's got to be clamped down before I can show you. But you can kind of see now that I can get, I believe, I can get the thing to shut down. Like that. So I'm thinking maybe if I come right off of this screw right there and clamp it down, of course then the cable's got to go like clumsily under the gas tank. Can't go through the gas tank, so I guess it's got to go under. Or maybe, you know, it can take a turn you know, and try to get the throttle someplace around here. I'm not worried about mounting it here. I can come up with something. You know, the cable is just so much flexible, not totally flexible. I found this weird piece of metal. It was just flat, and I stuck a screwdriver in the metal and stuck it in a vise and crushed it. I liked it because it had these edges that were kind of sharp that I thought would dig into the cable, but the screwdriver I bent it around was a little big. And then I thought that this, this might be able to screw right onto there. You know what I mean? Okay, I kind of crimped it on here. For some reason I just did it in the basement without it even looking where it was supposed to go. But where we're at right now is like full throttle. If we can nudge this over to there, we can screw it on. Of course that spring's kind of going to be in the way too. Who gives a fuck about that, right? Maybe put a washer on it so it still keeps pressure on it down here. It seems really tight. Okay, we're clamped down. That's closed. That's wide open. Cable no move. Now we can probably hitch the throttle someplace here or something. You see this? Yeah, like right down here. Yeah, just have to make a bracket there. And I think the cable will be able to clear all the garbage plastic and everything like that. Yeah, it's not bad. Put that thing even back down. The old governor arm. The only thing that's bad is the last time I was putting the carb on, I ripped the gasket, so now I gotta pull it all off and put on a new gasket. Oh, I also had to give that a notch right there so that this thing takes a screw right there. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not even going to put that piece back on, so I didn't really have to do that, but it sits in there nicer. Ugly, but it works. Okay, it's the next day, taking a break from painting. I made this up. Piece of metal. It was already bent like that. I don't know what it was from. Always, you know, it's great to have this old crappy metal around that you can use for stuff. And I drilled a hole in it, and I found this piece of rubber that I used to kind of cushion it. It can come out, and then this should be able to go like right here. I mean, is that terrible? And you got to bend down to get that one, so like at the same level. And I think the cable will be able to come out fine. I think this is right where it dips down. We might have to put a notch in that. But like I said yesterday, I'm gonna have to take this off anyway again to replace that gasket that I ripped. And I like this idea. I think it's gonna be good. Give it a cheesy ass paint job. Attached with a couple of screws. We did find a gasket, so it's time to put it together. Alright, watch this. Open, closed, open, closed, open, closed, open, 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 closed. Doesn't wiggle around. Looks like it'll be fine under the gas tank. Bend that back down a little bit. Totally out of the way, everything I hope, except for maybe here. I have to bang that over or something, but how do you like them apples?
I like road apples.
I also threw this plate back on for no reason whatsoever, except for maybe next time if I have to take it apart, I'll go, why the hell did I put this piece on? Everything works just fine with it there. Maybe it's a little extra protection, who knows. Okay, gas tank is going on next. Okay, it's buttoned up. These always go together, so you feel very unconfident. These usually, the nuts over here usually go in a lot further, so you can't tell if the carb's really seated or not, but it feels like it is. You still have the choke control. Gas tank's mounted. I stripped that one screw in here into the aluminum, but whatever. This is going to have to be notched for this cable so that it fits over this. And in my haste, I can't remember if that's open and that's closed. If this is full throttle and that's whatever, so I'm going to leave it in the middle. Hopefully we'll get it started. Let's put some gas in it and see what happens. Okay, we had to get some fuel out of the motorcycle. I have none here, and it was very tinkle yellow, like old tinkle yellow. Well, let's see what happens. I got the electricity hitched up for the electric start. Wow, what a difference. Total control over the throttle now. Totally usable. Love it. Yeah, there's one other thing about this switch I didn't think about, and that there's no shut off now. But I lowered the RPMs and I just put on a choke, and yeah, it stopped. Not too worried about it, I guess. Yeah, we cut a good chunk out here with the X-Acto saw. Right there. Like it was never there, right? And what's the big deal? Nothing. And yeah, we are going to hitch up some kind of kill switch, probably in this assembly. I also want to put some kind of rubber Trojan on it so it doesn't get pregnant. The water stays off of it. Yeah, maybe a little switch right here would be kind of cool. On, off, on, off. So yeah, that switch still works there. So we got an off switch. We're good. Yeah, so the switch is still hitched up here. Stop. So I can see the first time I go to start this thing up again, I'm going like, well, I bypassed that, so that shouldn't even work, but it's on stop. So I just got to remember that. But it doesn't do anything to the throttle at all. That's not hitched up. Just the stop switch. It's just a ground to the mag.